What is up, guys? Zan from the Madden YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to become automatic inside the 5-yard line. But before we get into the video, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you guys take the time to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the uploads coming your way here on the Zan Madden YouTube channel. If you guys want to take your game to the next level in Madden 21, check out my strategy site, gridirongameplans.gg. Gridiron Game Plans is your one-stop source for all things competitive Madden. Every week in our Vault Update, we take a look at the meta for the most effective tactics available being used by pro players on the MCS circuit, breaking down not only how and why the pros do what they do, but most importantly, how you can counter those metas when you face them in online play. On top of that, your subscription also includes any and every offensive and defensive game plan released on the website while your subscription is active. So head over to gridirongameplans.gg. $9.95 per month unlocks the entire website, and you can opt out at any time. Okay guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into today's video. I'm going to be talking about how to become unstoppable out of the goal line. Now, the goal line is an area where you either have good goal line defense to stop the most popular runs, whether it be power O, fullback dive, strong toss, or you don't. But one area of the field that people are a little bit averse to passing is inside that 5-yard line. Those passing lanes become a little bit tighter. People get nervous when it comes to, trying to throw down there. Now, the good news is this. Most of the best goal line fullback dive defenses have to be goal line defenses for run defensive purposes. So as we take a look here and I break down what these goal line defenses are, if we take a look at the 6-2, this is the most popular goal line defense in the game. This is because people like to spread this and be able to shoot the gaps through the middle against the fullback dive. So you're going to see a lot of 60 pinch, a lot of 60 base, a lot of 60 half out, 60 out jacks and guts. More often than not, the two plays that you're going to face most are 60 out jacks and 60 out. Basically, one is already set up as a blitz. The other one's kind of a hybrid coverage call. So let's go ahead and kind of get into this, in terms of the 6-2. And if you want to take a look at the goal line 5-man front, it's basically all man coverage plays as well. It's really simple. These are all zero coverages. There's no real zones, no hook zones on the field. It's not hard to beat this. So let's go ahead and kind of talk about this here. Now, before we get into the details passing wise, if you guys are looking for, honestly, the all-around best goal line scheme in the game, I promise you, you guys need to check out my spread offensive game plan. I know what you're thinking, spread, it's only shotgun formations. Well, it does have goal line, and I did a YouTube video, I want to say like 5 weeks ago. Time kind of flies. I'm not sure how long ago it was. But I did a video on the best goal line scheme in the game because you can audible down out of the gun wing tight with goal line personnel into kind of the QB sneak, the fullback dive type runs, but you also have like jet touch pass. So go check that video out if you guys really want to be unstoppable down here, especially after I show you today's video, because you don't have to be in the spread playbook for today's video. I'm just going to teach you basically play action theory here. So the way that we're going to do this here is obviously you want to have, a second tight end on the field. It doesn't really matter who here, or a second running back rather. Basically, your main goal line scheme is going to be fullback dive. You're going to have your power O, and then a lot of players are going to have, it's kind of up to you. Most players are going to have, the QB sneak is one of theirs. I recommend QB sneak because I think QB sneak from 1 yard out is automatic against 60 out and 60 out jacks. But typically you're going to have a passing play. Now, this is where I kind of differ in my approach. There are different types of play action plays. You've got PA spot, which is a ISO fake handoff to the right, the quarterback's right. And then you have the PA power O, which is more of like a, it looks like it's more of an outside hitting play action. So you've got that to the right as well. And then you've got this PA sprint flat in which the quarterback turns the opposite direction on a boot concept. Now, using the way in which the quarterback turns his shoulders is going to pull the user pre-snap, or not really pre-snap, but during the play fake. So I think that it's important that you at least have the PA spot or the PA, the PA power O in your audibles. And then you could also, and I forgot to mention, you have the waggle, which is also a nice little play as well. That is a play action boot concept with the quarterback is turning over his opposite shoulder of his throwing arm if he's a right-handed quarterback. So he's turning over his left shoulder and turning his back to the defense. So I like to have one of those style of PAs, one where he turns to his right in the audibles. So I'll go ahead and put PA spot. And then if I'm coming out in goal line, I'm going to come out in one of the other play actions in which I have the quarterback turning over his off shoulder. And that's going to give me full coverage in terms of how I want my opponent to, user on this play. Now, again, when you're running this defense, you've got the 60 out, and then you've got the 60 out jacks. So if we take a look at this here, 60 out jacks is interesting because we have nobody guarding either of the two inside tight ends that are on the line of scrimmage. So the X tight end and the A tight end are both uncovered. Now, this is great set it and forget it fullback dive defense, because all you have to do is spread the defense and then you just user this guy. And if they do run the fullback dive, you basically shoot in through the middle like this and get the hit stick. So a lot of players are just prone to kind of, setting up this as their main goal line defense down inside the 3-yard line and trying to, shoot the fullback dive. Now, of course, the meta is kind of interesting because, most players will tend to go power O against this look. But I think the thing here is that players don't typically pass on goal line defenses, and I don't really know why. It's very straightforward. You either have the X receiver completely uncovered and the A receiver completely uncovered if they're running 60 out jacks, or it's simple zero coverage where they're manned up if it's 60 outs where it's manned up. So let's go ahead and move the ball down here to like the 2-point conversion line and kind of break down how I would attack with this. So about the 2 yards, the 1.5 yards away. So naturally, you can bait them into this defense because they think that they've got, the best fullback dive defense in the game if they're in 60 outs, right? Now, let's go ahead and take a look here. This is where play action theory comes in. More often than not, they have to be on this guy when they're in this defense. So if they're on this guy to shoot the fullback dive, you know that the X tight end is the one that you basically can look at as the guy that you can throw to. So what I typically will do is I will call play action, especially ones in which I can, make that user kind of bite down to the right. So if they're on the right, I'm going to check into the PA spot audible where the quarterback turns to the right because the user is going to think, gotcha here. Well, and then what I typically am going to do on the backside away from the play action is I'm going to run a simple tight end beater, which is, the trail route or the angle route to the tight end. So what ends up happening is on the play fake, the first thing the user does, because they're pre-trained against goal line to spread and then shoot through this gap, is they're stepping down and inside, right here to this angle. Well, what they're going to realize is that it's not fullback dive. So then they're going to think ISO, and their user's going to flinch over here typically, especially once they realize that they have to guard the fullback in the flat. So now what we end up with is a situation, and it's hard to mimic this, but right off of this play action, I will right trigger out of it. This is canceling your play action. And then I'm going to throw the trail route to the inside. Now, you could throw the trail route to Howard to the inside with a low ball, which is left trigger or L2 on PlayStation, or you could just throw this as a simple bullet pass lead to the inside. So you're going to see here like boom, and then I just possession catch. And again, the user is not going to be in a spot where they can kind of pull off this gap shoot and get, back out here. That's not going to be their initial reaction. Being that this is zero coverage, if they were, say, to do that, I'm going to mimic that by manning up X here. You're going to be able to read that guy. So you're in PA spot. Maybe you have this backside, angle route, and then, you've got the routes to the corner. However you want to do this here. You see that user flinch to the wrong side. It's like, okay, well, let me just dump this ball out here in the flat to the fullback because that's his original assignment. So very, very simple way to, in terms of how this defense works, really, really easy to attack him that way. Now, what's funny is after you've thrown an angle route to that guy, that is really easy to make, to bait that guy. So what I would do after that is I would go ahead and use that waggle, which is the quarterback turning the other direction. You could still have that angle route there as bait. And then I would go to the other tight end, either of the other tight ends on the trail route. So you could have this drag to your inside tight end, which is going to beat his man. You see that his man is right here, Jenkins. And then you're going to have this guy right here, Swearinger. Again, that's a safety typically that is lined up, and people aren't going to take time to sub in corners at this spot. So you should have a good enough tight end to win at this spot. That is going to win here. So then in this spot, again with the user, they're thinking, okay, let's shoot this gap for the fullback dive. And if it's a pass, he wants to go over here to this side. So you could actually bait them with this PA waggle flow in which the quarterback turns over his left shoulder, in which you're going to think, okay, fullback dive, and they're going to shoot across like this, and they're going to be out of position on the original side. So, you know, say for instance, we'll kind of mimic them doing that. I'm going to put them in a hook curl to kind of mimic what a user would do, kind of flowing on this. But again, you're reading that strength side player. See, you do this, and then boom, back over the middle, and then you're open. You've got two guys open. You've got the angle route, and you've got the fullback route. So again, in all these plays, the fullback is actually uncovered, but you've got another option. So if they have a good user to your angle routes, your fullback is wide open in the flat. So again, we've used this trail route right here as our first touchdown down on the goal line in the game. And then they bid on the fullback dive, and we threw this quick off of the play action with the low ball. This time we're simulating that this user knows what's happening. So, you know, Davis looking for the fullback dive gap shoot. As you see right there, it opens up. And then off the play action, he's like, oh, quick pass. And he flows out underneath this into what a user would kind of strafe in this area to take away this trail route, right? And you see right here, if he wasn't standing here, the trail route would be open for an inside pass lead into this area of the field. Well, here on the backside, we've got our trail route to this guy. And you see here that Brait is going to be able to cook, bang, back over the middle here. All the while, the man that the user is actually responsible for is leaking out on all these play action plays wide open. So he's not covered either. So in any of these scenarios, if you wanted to, you could go ahead and you know, throw the ball immediately to the fullback. Now let's go ahead and get back to 60 out jacks. So if I get into 60 out jacks and I spread my defense, again, we've talked about how this is a hard flat defense. This is designed to take away that fullback dump that I just talked about, you know, 5 seconds ago. Well, again, X and A are uncovered. So, you know, in this defense, if they're going to play it this way, you know, you're going to have the ability to, again, you can still throw your trail routes. This is just for what it's worth. You can definitely throw your trail routes with this. You know, play action, and then bang, back over the middle for the touchdown. Hard flat's not going to do anything to stop a trail route on either side of the field. So you've got those as options. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about here is the low ball corner. The low ball corner is, again, one of the easiest things in the world to guard, or I'm sorry, easiest things in the world to throw, hard to guard, especially down here tight off of play action. So one thing that I frequently will do is I will set up double corners, and then you know, a trail route's actually fine too. You could go trail corner. Honestly, you could go Texas route underneath them too. You know, you could go flat. You could go flat corner on this side with the Texas route over the middle, and then a low ball corner to Howard. But again, it's the same deal where you're using the play action to suck this user in to the right or down and into the left and open up the corner to the opposite side. So again, if they're looking to shoot fullback dive like this, the natural flow is for them to keep running left. So in this situation, you could use the play action to the left to pull that user. So we go to our waggle call, go double corners in a Texas route, and because the quarterback opens up to the left side, that user flies down, and we throw the low ball off the play action to Gronkowski. Well, that was a terrible throw. But we're going to throw the play action corner route to Gronkowski. Let's go ahead and try that again. I'm not sure if that hit off of somebody or what there. That was bizarre. But again, you go ahead and right off the play action, and then you throw this ball in the back of the end zone. Now, if he's running into the back of the end zone, this is where it's tough inside the 3. You actually want to smart route down your corner. So go ahead and set it up again here. Smart route your corner routes down, and they turn into little slant outs. And this is going to make these both way more effective. I mean, you see right here how you can throw that ball out there. Now, this is something else too. In my most recent vault update, I did a video on how to get 4 route techs for 4 AP, no matter what offense you run. If you want to run goal line, go for it. If you want to run ace, go for it. If you want to run 3 receivers and 1 tight end and a running back, again, 4 route techs can be on the field for 4 AP. So when it gets down here on the goal line, if you've got a tight end or 2 that have the route tech, any route you could possibly ever throw is going to be wide open against this defense as well. So, you know, kind of taking that from the YouTube tip up to the next level, you can just go out and ad-lib pretty much anything you want and be pretty well off. Now, this strategy is also something that I would highly recommend you guys use down, you know, in milk situations. So like you have a 3rd and 1 trying to, you know, get that last first down to ice away a ball game. If you come out in fullback dive, they're going to match you with goal line. You know, they're not going to be willing to try to defend, you know, the best short yardage run in the game from 3-3-5 wide. And if they are, you could do very much so the same tactics against 3-3-5 wide, because again, that's a gap shoot defense. The user has to be responsible for stopping the run, which is going to open up everything else off of play action. So let me go ahead and take that kind of into the next level. Obviously we can pass, you know, if there's a lot more field. Let's go ahead and mimic that somebody wanted to be, and actually I don't have 3-3-5 wide, but for the sake of argument, let's like play some zone coverage out of like dollar or something here, and kind of like pretend that it's nickel 3-3-5. And it's again the same drill. The way the quarterback turns on the play action dictates how the user is. So again, let's just pretend that, you know, we're playing, you know, nickel 3-3-5 wide. So kind of looks in a way like this, right? That's kind of what the defense looks like. No, that's not the best example, but you know, with this type of defense, the user is so responsible for shooting gaps that both of your tight ends off the line are open. Now, obviously you have to know what the coverage is. Most players are going to tend to, you know, play like a Mabel variation. So they're going to have a purple and a blue on both sides of the field. And then, you know, typically this is kind of like what it looks like, right? It's not really going to have this guy in a spy, but, you know, and then their first step is down. Well, if they have to defend the entire middle of the field, it's very, very simple. You can run the little corner route combinations. And, you know, one thing that I oftentimes will do, you'll see here at the play action, I can get this user to kind of flow to the left with that play action. So again, I'll put him in a hook curl left, so that way his first step is left. You watch this user, and if he gap shoots over the middle, why wouldn't you just go, okay, and then you throw this little low ball corner off of that? Or, you know, the trail route back over the middle. And that's another thing you can do. So, you know, if we set this up again here, I know this isn't the best way to mimic 3-3-5 wide, but, you know, trying to make it kind of look like it to a degree. And 9 out of 10 players you're going to play are going to run the double Mabel. So, you know, you end up with a defense that, let's see if I can do this right here, that and that. So you end up with a defense where there's one hook zone and it's the user. You know, if he's dropping into that hook curl to the left, I mean, at any point in time, you could go ahead and say, let's go ahead and run the angle route to Gronkowski that breaks back over the middle. And honestly, you wouldn't even have to like run the fullback into the same flat as the tight end, but you know, you get this action where this user flies over here, the middle seam on the right is going to be wide open. So you're going to end up with, you know, off of the play action, just bang right back over the middle. You see how you can run for days. And if they want to stay home on the right side, you know, let's say that they decide to stay home or whatever. So here we go. We have, I think this is maybe, yeah, this is a little bit better way of mimicking it right here. So you're going to get a lot of people that are going to, you know, again, they're shooting the gaps through the middle, double Mabeled, relying on their 3-3-5 wide to do all the gap shooting for them. This is where you would say, okay, if he wants to stay on the right side, let's bait him to the right side and run our low ball corner to the backside. So you do something like this, and then off a play action, it's boom, low ball. And then you possession catch that based off of using that play action. I mean, this has kind of been my MO my entire Madden career. I haven't really been a shotgun player ever at any point in my career until probably this year. And that was because of the 3-3-5 wide gap shoot. But I've always been, you know, someone who specializes in using play action animations, even though play action itself doesn't really fool anybody. Just that split second where I can hold your user is enough for me to right trigger out of the play action, get control of the quarterback, and throw a bullet quick pass. That kind of harkens back to some of the older Madden concepts that players have used over the years, where, you know, you used to play action and quick pass, snap throwing from under center used to be so effective. And it's kind of been something that's been nerfed over the, you know, the last few years due to a number of things. You know, receiver release animations, quarterback windups, just in general. Well, here in this style of defense, we're just taking advantage of knowing what the coverage typically is. It's either double Mabel or it's zero, depending on, you know, how your opponent tends to play their goal line. And the same strategy can be applied. And everybody at this point that's still playing the game, especially Mutt, is probably running a hot route master. And if you guys are playing regs, yeah, it's like 50-50, right? Like, some of you are going to be using the Packers, so you're not going to be able to run this tip. And the other 50% of you are running the Bucks, so you've got Brady to run this tip with. So you guys really shouldn't struggle down on the goal line or milking a game out ever again. This is a very, very simple way to pass the ball. And honestly, you should apply this to, you know, under center concepts in general. Utilize motion of receivers, you know, motion snap off of it. You know, it's a really, really great way to open up your passing game from under center. That way your opponents just don't sell out on that fullback dive power O. So, you know, take the tendency of the meta and use it against itself here. So if you guys like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, drop those below. Make sure you subscribe here to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you guys are notified when I upload. I upload Monday through Friday in the late morning to early afternoon. So hopefully I'll see you guys here on the channel. Make sure you check out gridirongameplans.gg. Again, guys, if you like this video, I go into a lot more detail on the website. You get you know, full schemes. You get the weekly vault updates that are keeping on top of what the pro players are doing. Definitely go check it out. Otherwise, I'll see you guys right back here Monday with my next video upload. Until then, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck.